So there were many things that were wrong. I was a completely healthy individual with no preconditions. I ended up with a severe necrosis for several months.
When people say it's just a hair transplant surgery, this is the case they need to see. This patient did not just get a poor cosmetic result. He developed a recipient area necrosis after hair transplant in Turkey, meaning that a part of the scalp tissue actually died. He was left with a large scarred area in the frontal scalp, infection, and no hair growth in the damaged zone. Now, our job is not just to transplant hair. First, we have to prepare damaged area with the scar tissue to improve blood supply and try to make this area safe enough for graft survival. And in this interview, he explains why he chose that clinic, what happened after surgery, and how the clinic responded when complications started.
We're here today with Herman, who had a bad experience having hair restoration surgery in Turkey. And I've seen him about a month ago to try to help him with the repair procedure. And he was very kind and willing to share his experience, what happened to him, because this is very important and something that not being told very often. People who really get hurt by black market hair restoration practices, and it's not only in Turkey, there are many other places, but this is a real problem, and we try to raise awareness of the public about the issue. So do you mind just telling what happened to you?
Of course, doctor. Thank you so much. First of all, I want to take this opportunity to raise my voice and thank you for doing this for the community. When I first was looking for hair restoration, it was more of an adventure for me. I did not understand the black market that exists in hair restoration. I thought about going to Turkey in an exploratory mode and as a tourist, and then take the opportunity to do a procedure. They sell you in social media, what they sell you when you're interviewing these different centers, it's a dream, and most times it's not a reality. There's so many things to be said about, specifically my experience with Turkey and these clinics, is that, first of all, there's no doctors operating this clinic. You'll be seen by either hair technicians or somebody that may be semi-qualified in implantation, but they're not, they're not physicians, they're not in the medical field. They sell you a dream, they show you before and after photos that may or may not even be of their own cases. A lot of the time also their clinics are not sanitized, they don't use the correct procedures, they don't use the correct sterilization. They rush you into signing up and going ahead and start the procedure.
This is something very important that you mentioned. Most of these places, the doctors are not even either know how to do hair restoration or not willing to do so. So in those places, hair technicians, hair transplant technicians, assistants actually play a role of surgeons. What determines your outcome or risk of complications is whose hands performing the surgery. If he or she is not in the OR during the procedure, it's completely irrelevant. May I say what happened to you? What kind of complication?
Yeah, of course, I can give you. So like I said, I wanted to explore Istanbul. I always wanted to go to that area in a more of a tourist way. And then I took the opportunity to, in a very frugal way, I took the opportunity to go for hair restoration as well. As I do my research, I visited about 4 or 5 different clinics and then decided for one. I got to meet the physician when it was already, for one time, for about 5 minutes, when it was already too late. I had already signed up, I had already paid for the procedure, I was already on scrubs and ready to go into an operating room. Even though I could have backed out of that, at that point I was excited, I wanted to get the procedure done and really skip a lot of the steps that I should have done and the due diligence that I should have done about the qualifications of the physician, whether that physician was going to be on site supervising or hands-on on the procedure, which none of that was the case. In my case, the procedure was about 8 hours. They did about 4,000 grafts on my scalp. And immediately after, the day after, I started developing a necrosis. When I went in for a follow-up, they didn't even realize. And I'm in the medical field, I started realizing that I was developing a necrosis, and I was very concerned. And therefore, they immediately brought the doctor in. But even on the follow-ups, it wasn't the physician doing my post-care. I would encourage anyone that is considering this type of surgery to do very well due diligence, to understand the credentials of the physicians, understand the procedure that they're going to do for you, especially when you're going out of the country. I was going to be there for 3-4 days, and I ended up being there for about 2 weeks. They had to put me on antibiotics for many months. I went to the hospital multiple times. It was a nightmare.
It is not a very common complication, and we call it a recipient zone area necrosis. And it usually happens because of the lack of the blood supply, lack of the oxygen in the area itself. There are certain conditions like diabetes, history of heavy smoking, cigarettes, and microvascular disease that can predispose to having necrosis area. Or it could be caused entirely by the wrong technique during the procedure. If it's not done professionally by a professional medical doctor, surgeon with the training, that could cause this type of disaster. That's what unfortunately happened to Herman. This is a widespread problem, and people sometimes get lucky not having the severe complication like Herman did. But in general, this industry, when you create, instead of personalized approach to surgery, you create an assembly line and you train people for a few months and let them play surgeons. This is a very logical consequence of this type of model. And it's not, again, only in Turkey. We have clinics here in Miami with the same philosophy and same flawed model of operation that produce similar complications and produce similar type of results.
I interview doctors here that are actually, close to me, my circle, and they stated that I did not need 4,000 grafts in order to do my restoration. I only had a small receding hairline and a little bit on the temple areas. I needed some touch-ups, and they end up doing 4,000 grafts unnecessarily. So that, that over densitized area was one issue. At the time, they were on Staphylococcus bacteria that I got infected with. So most likely they didn't, sanitize the equipment the right way. So there were many things that were wrong. And I was a completely healthy individual with no preconditions and just needed a small procedure. I end up with a severe necrosis for several months.
Hair transplant, it's a real surgery with a real complication. So I understood how important the surgical environment, surgical aspects. So my ORs, for example, is completely sterile. We work in sterile gowns, we work sterile gloves, we in mask, we have a hair cover, just like a real operating room. There is no difference. We are planning to perform a repair surgery, and it's not going to be an easy repair surgery because when you have a necrosis, unfortunately, it creates a lot of devascularized tissue or scar tissues. Herman today just about to get his PRP treatment into the scar tissue. You just finished your hyperbaric treatment.
Great.
We did the right 2.5 atmosphere treatment to stimulate angiogenesis. So the idea is to get PRP Folix, which is a fractional laser, into the area to bring as much restoration of blood flow is possible. And we started early, so we're going to continue doing this before the surgery. You have another treatment 1 week before surgery. The goal would be to get as many grafts as possible safely without compromising anything, and continue with intensive hyperbaric treatment for at least 10 days after the surgery to give the best chance for every graft that we take to survive.
Right. No, and I thank you. And let me tell you, I come in to visit you, Dr. Max, with a completely different mindset than the first time I did this. I can tell you that I was very selective on who I wanted to perform my procedure this time around. I did a lot of research on you and many other doctors. I was very particular to find you and very impressed so far on your facility, your staff, and all the different steps that you've taken to precondition my case, the tissue, my situation, and all the steps also, post-surgical that we have planned for this. So I'm excited. I'm happy I found you, and I'm hopeful that you can help me, restore and improve my scalp and my condition.
Thanks
All right.
again.
Well,
for your
thank you,
trust.
doctor. I'm looking forward. I'm excited, and I can't wait to show my afters.